and welcome to Onesies, a podcast of onesies and wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew,
My name is Emily.
and we are back talking about the 2022 Disney Plus television series, Miss Marvel.
Yay!
Yay! Episode 4, Seeing Red.
Seeing red.
And this episode will take us to Pakistan, to
Yeah.
Karachi, with quite a cliffhanger at the end. And then a lot of just, I'm not sure, I don't want to suggest that this is now a trope because I'm not familiar with it, because I don't watch the genre. But this episode is very much about a mother and daughter who are having a crisis at home,
hmm
very intentionally using this trip together to take a break from that and bond over this shared experience. And it is very cool.
Very
Um,
cool.
very cool. And I only read the first 6 issues of the first Miss Marvel series. I never um, got back to it because I was going to read the trades, but nobody ever actually gets back to reading the trades when they said they would, when it would have mattered. So, um, comic book readers of the 21st century, it's our fault that things didn't make it. But so I don't know if this ever happened in the actual comic. I don't, because this will be very uh, Pakistan centered, very uh, Pakistan American focused, just the
Yeah.
whole experience of it. It will also basically be better Indiana Jones than we got in the last Indiana Jones movie. So that's also interesting, but we can talk about that when we get there. Okay, do we have 3 things this week? I think I have a couple.
We do have 3 things. Um, you had already mentioned it, sort of the mother-daughter relationship. I really enjoyed. The set design, specifically in Nani's house, and the first fight scene with the red dagger guy. Loved. Loved.
Big heart.
Yeah.
Yes, very cool scene. Um, we can when we get there, because we actually have an outline. Surprise! I made us an outline.
Wow. Doing some work.
Trying to stay focused on
Why do you need to stay focused, Andrew?
the steps in the episode.
What's going on with you that you need to stay focused?
I didn't get a lot of sleep, and I've been drinking a lot of mate.
Okay.
Okay, drinking a lot of green tea, and I'm blanking on where it's most popular. Is it in Argentina? Whatever. Not,
Something like that.
it is something like that. I believe it's also grown in Paraguay. Um, but we can. I'm making Emily watch a Marvel Cinematic Universe show. I'm not going to mansplain Mate to her as a surprise. Though I could do that. That'd be really fun. We could talk about gourds.
Oh no, you couldn't tell me where it was from. I'm not sure you would do a very good job mansplaining right now.
Okay. Uh,
Turning red. So
Turning
this
Red.
follows the final sequence in last episode was that Kamala is going to sleep and she gets a call from her nanny inviting her to Pakistan. They talk briefly about the cuff and its powers, and we also see that or hear that Nani has also had the same vision of the train that Kamala had. So we open this episode with, is it Kamala and her mom on the airplane?
Mm-hmm.
There's a running joke about she's got a very large stuffed animal that people are making fun of her for. It's pretty silly, unnecessary, but maybe it comes back. Is that little sloth guy going to come to life? I don't know. But Kamala has been grounded, we discover on this flight. For some reason, um, there's a man seated between them, and I don't really know what the point of that was, except to reveal that mom was with her, I guess.
It
Um,
was the ticketing computers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe actually seat people in the most dramatic places possible through an algorithm designed by Tony Stark in Iron Man 3.
cool. Okay. Um, we find out that Kamala has been grounded because of all of the stuff she's been up to. And she wasn't supposed to be talking, but a stranger, the man in between the two of them, asked her about her trip to Pakistan. Um, and when they get to the airport, they're greeted by two of Kamala's cousins
Yes.
who seem to have very little to do with anything, but they keep popping up.
It's important to have that would actually either okay, maybe it's a trope to have enough characters in a kids thing because in a kids thing there's always fucking kids around. Dracula the series, you emphasize having a lot of kids around because you're trying to appeal to
To
somebody
kids.
who'll glob on to thinking that guy's funny or just like that one the girl's cute. Like it
Right.
really is just like trying to, well, I mean, not in Dracula the series. These are young adults who are they make fun of Kamala's youthful Americanness quite a bit.
Yeah, that's about the only purpose they serve. But she meets more people roughly her age who do the same thing.
Yes,
So I guess it's just to maximize that she is out of place. I don't know, a fish
yes.
out of water a little bit. Um,
Which
but I guess they also provide like a safety net for her. Like mom is willing to let her go out and do things if she's with the cousins.
yes. And it feels like a John Hughes movie. If he made them this much for girls, if there was ever a mom who figured in and not,
Or a brown person.
there were lots of brown people in John Hughes movies. They just were criminals every time. I did a paper on it once. I did a paper on it once for public speaking. I was that guy. Like,
Oh my God. Okay.
hey,
You are the Andy this episode.
oh, I was driving around thinking, you know, could you, if I got a bartending, if I went to one of those bartending schools, and would I be able to get a job? Like, would that be a potential like future?
Like a side hustle or
I mean, in the apocalypse,
okay. Fair enough. People are still gonna want to drink.
people are still going to want to drink. And I was just like, and would I fight for that, guaranteed placement? Okay, everybody, sorry, back to the show. Um, we're going to go to the house, grandma's house. Now, it struck me the first time I watched it, then it's striking me this time. We talked a lot about Nani. We gossiped about her. We shushed people talking about her, mentioning her name, asking for any slight detail. And we never really got a good look at her on the phone. That was like the bit was she was holding it too
She
close to
doesn't
her
she's
face,
an old lady who doesn't know how to
used the
use it.
phone.
It's cute.
Very funny. She is this delightful,
Delightful.
just, you know,
Normal grandmother.
normal Disney grandma.
Like
Like,
a little quirky, but like almost immediately. So we get the scene where they're driving to the house, even though it's nighttime and it's the middle of the night. They pull up to the house and it's daylight, and the house is huge, so big. There's clearly Kamala hadn't been there in a long time. She doesn't remember it being that big. She goes in. Funny scene where she slides across the tile floor, and you hear Nani in the background going, "Your room is on the right." She goes into a room, and this blew me away. The set design for this room that she goes into, which she mistakes for her bedroom. It's not her bedroom. It's um, a library slash artist studio. And so all around, it's just there are plants, there are books, there are beautiful paintings, just gorgeous colors everywhere. Like everything is so bright and beautiful. And all I wanted to do was pause it and like take in every angle of that room. It was so gorgeous. I loved every second of that. And we don't really see too much of the rest of the house in this episode anyway.
Yeah.
But that room was like, I want to be an old lady. This is what my house is going to look like. It's going to be messy, but it's going to be beautiful.
Right.
There's huge windows. It was amazing. I loved that. Like, there are other shows that have had equally good set design, but like that was a dream. Whoever did that needs to win an award just for that one room. I mean, I guess the rest of Karachi is really beautiful too, and really well done. It was done in Thailand. I
It
don't
was
know if you
done
saw
in
that.
Thailand. I did, and I remember looking it up the first time too. It is directed, the director is from Karachi,
Mm,
and the grandma's house was built from scratch, modeled on her childhood home. So,
wow.
yeah, so like clearly Miss Marvel behind the scenes, there were a lot of things that were clicking as well. Because like I'm pretty sure the writers' credits on most of these episodes are a bunch of fucking white guys still. Like they're at least guys.
Yeah.
And
They had cultural.
they had culture, but it's like the directors, they made sure to get
Mm,
sort of in tune with the like trying to like tell this story of the Pakistani American superhero. It's just interesting because we don't have nobody's like, well, the real Spider-Man's the one that was told by the guy from New York City who like had a connection with like the backstory and shit. Like it's just very nice. And just like
so one of the writers was a woman, but
okay,
not of South Asian generally or Pakistani specifically descent. It looks like there's not a lot. And I don't see the other writer as having a page. Anyway, very well done. They did this very well. I also read
yes,
that some of the Karachi scenes they had to reshoot. They had to rebuild the sets in like Atlanta on site at a studio and try to get it to match as closely as possible to what they had built up in Thailand. So that's impressive. That's pretty
money,
impressive.
money. Yep.
Money, money.
Um, and we are going to get a lot of the street because as Kamala goes out to take in the city, the house being on a set on a giant sound stage somewhere makes a lot of sense
Mm-hmm.
because the backdrop is, you know, I always had this like, I don't care if Disney goes back and fixes special effects stuff. I but I kind of wish they would. Sometimes I'm like, come on, guys. Can't you just run it through the iPhone 16 this time or whatever, or like the 13? So, but it doesn't matter because the scene with her and grandma is just lovely. They
She talks about yeah. She talks about how um because of the partition, she doesn't have a lot from her childhood. She shows Kamala the only picture that her father had of her as a child. And then she transitions to how she's using her memories to paint these pictures of her memories. Yeah, that makes sense. And shows Kamala a picture of her great grandmother, who Aisha, who is, we find out now, is a jinn and was lost during the partition. Is this also where they talk about how grandma was saved on the train by a trail of stars?
Yes.
So talks about that. And I think this is also where then Kamala's like, I want to go to the train station to see where all of this happened. Like this
Yes.
is so she makes that plan to do that. But it's a very sweet scene. Oh, and grandma just explains that, yes, I'm a jinn, you're a jinn. It's not what you think it is. And there's no talk about mom being a jinn, but presumably she is also, right? Like if it's a genetic thing. Um, and then does Kamala go out with her? That's when she goes out on the street with her cousins. Mom says she can only leave the house if she leaves with her cousins.
Because her cousins are going to be responsible,
Yeah.
which is like, what?
As soon as they can, they ditch her because she wants to go to the train station and they think
Like
that's
a
boring.
fucking nerd.
Yeah.
He's like, do you ever go to the train station and like learn about where partition and stuff? And they're like, why would anybody ever do that in the world?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, find your own way there. Good luck.
Yeah. And then
Very like,
she gets some a guy on the street who takes her picture and then tries to sell it to her. Um, gives her a deal, not going to cheat the tourist, right? And she pulls out the money and she's like, I'll give you the money if you give me the directions to the train station. And he gives her very oddball directions that she can barely follow. But we cut to the train station and it's busy and it's cool. And she is there. She puts her mask on for some unknown reason.
yes.
The mask that Bruno had made for her that she received in the last episode.
Yes. It is. I imagine somebody in some room or in some email thread was like, are we just doing this? And they were like, yeah, we're just fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Because she will wear her mask around town all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And it will not be culturally curious and we will look at why, we will see why, but it is also just kind of like yeah, it's just like, yeah, we're just fucking doing it. Like we will, like, this episode does not give Kamala really a chance to decompress about any of the superhero stuff.
Mm-mm.
It's because she doesn't have Bruno. She's trying to get a hold of Nakia, who's ghosting her. She's so upset about ghosting or about not telling Nakia. Lots of stuff with that.
Yeah.
So like she puts on the mask because like they were like, I don't know, man, maybe we'll sell a fucking doll with her in street clothes and the mask as a variant for fucking nerds and brown young ladies who want a fucking cool doll or something. I don't know, but it is a weird choice. Like you can see it in a like not maybe not I don't know about Miss Marvel comics, but there's this whole subgenre of sort of YA superheroes by YA creators. And so it's like a different vibe than a bunch of guys in their 30s and 40s writing it. And it's people with experience writing for a different audience. And you can see, like, the production art of her going around with her mask on or something. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a thing. Because she is,
Well, oh, continue.
you're going to get to your point. So here it
Yeah.
is.
So she's walking, and I don't know if she hears something or she sees something, but she very quickly reacts, and there's a gentleman with a bandana over his face running toward her. A fight ensues, but it's a fight, but it's also a little bit of a meet cute. They have this little sort of dialogue that's a little jabbing, but almost flirtatious, but not flirtatious because they're kids, right? But it's like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know who this is, except, does he say something about the clandestines?
Yeah, he's like, you're a clandestine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's becoming clear that he is trying to stop her because, oh yeah, he says he could sense the power of the Noor or whatever.
Yep.
And from the Bengals. And they have this fight scene, and she has seemingly mastered or come close to mastering her powers. So she uses the little blue freezy star things to build stairs to run away from him. When she falls, she builds a platform to land on. All of these things. When he falls on something, she one of her little blue star things, she breaks it so he falls on the ground. Like, she's really using her powers, but they're also like, it is kind of a meet cute. I felt like it was adorable. Whether or not they start dating, I don't care. But it's just sort of this. I see them. They're going to team up, kind of, guys. He is a member of the Red Daggers. He identifies that she is not a clandestine, um, but doesn't know how she has the bangle. And oh no, he identifies her as Aisha's great granddaughter somehow. And she goes, "How do you know Aisha?" And then
Yeah.
they go away into a restaurant slash secret cave. Another shout out to the set designer of this secret cave. It's like in mobster movies, right? Like, it's in the back of a restaurant. You open a door, you push something, and all of a sudden you're in the separate room. But it's more than a separate room. It's like freaking Bat Cave. I mean, it's this giant thing. They're introduced. We are introduced, and she is introduced to
Waleed.
Waleed. The other guy's name is Kareem. Um, and she gets a little bit more backstory about Aisha, about the Noor, and about what would have happened had she let the clandestines use the Bengal to bring to get back to the Noor realm or whatever.
Yes.
And that is actually that the Noor realm would have pressed itself against our realm, and the world as we know it would have blinked out of existence. Essentially, I'm using
Yes.
Doctor Who words because that's all I know.
Yes. They
But
they
again, the set design is great. These two men are dressed impeccably, and they're just so stylish. It just looks so cool. It's like, I want to be a Red Dagger. How do I get this job? Um, and they talk about how the Red Daggers are there to fight the clandestines, so this doesn't happen, so that the world does not disappear.
right. And this would always have happened. Like, there is no way for them to get back. So the Red Daggers have been fighting them for however many years, right?
Yeah,
Um, whereas finding the bangle just makes it possible, which is why Kamala's on their radar.
right.
Um, okay. So we then are going to get we're gonna get a check-in with the clandestines breaking
Mm,
out of damage control's prison.
very easily somehow.
Well,
It seemed pretty easy.
they're super duper strong, except when they're not super duper strong. They're one of those
Gotcha.
interdimensional beings. Like,
When it's convenient for them, they're super strong,
yes,
and
it's
when it's convenient for the plot, they're not.
exactly. It's another very strange thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, Star Wars, but okay. So uh
uh,
there's stuff with mom and grandma that
but first, when the clandestines break out of the
oh, that's right.
jail,
Yes.
they leave what's his name behind.
Cameron.
Cameron. They leave Cameron behind. His mom actually says, no, he made his choice. He's going to
Yeah.
have to live with it. So they all run off into the night, and he's injured at this point. Um, and so he's just kind of standing there. So I assume that we will see him again. Um, but yes, and then there's a scene with Mom and Nani that's really, I don't know, really sweet. This is like mother daughter, this whole mother daughter kind of through line for me. I realized not too long ago that besides having daddy issues, I have mommy issues. And so I find these scenes with mothers and daughters very touching. And I find this that Kamala's mom is very sweet and very patient, but Nani is also very sweet and also very patient. So, like I was waiting to kind of see the two of them parallel, like something to happen where mom realizes she's just like her mom, but I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that. But they do have some tender moments. They talk about, mom says you should come back to New Jersey and live with us. And Nani's got all these tins of candy. What is that? It's
Toffee.
not toffee candy. Yeah, it's really chewy and ouchy. Um, and she said, I had them just in case you ever came home because I know you loved them as a child, and it's very sweet. But we don't get the sweetness of it until after when Kamala comes home and her mom is eating this tin of toffees and shares one with her. And they have this giggly sweet moment where Kamala can't eat the toffee because it's too hard on her teeth. It was so sweet. I cried a couple of times, I'll be honest.
Yeah. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
So, yeah. Um, she's gonna hang out with Kareem outside of the Red Daggers. They're gonna go to the beach, listen to some music.
Eat some biryani out of a bag. That sounds delicious.
They make fun of her not being able to handle it spicy. Like,
again, this is more fish out of water, like American. Yeah, very good though.
yeah, it's like we've perfected this, and we're just
This is just a little tag. This is a little tag to the fish out of water storyline, and she's hanging out again with more people roughly her age.
And she has not had. She has felt. She had a small circle of friends we initially established.
Yeah.
And felt unsupported. And so she's sort of seeing this insight into this other life, including Kareem is able to do international man of mystery stuff and
be a normal kid.
Be a normal kid.
Yeah.
Not on his fucking phone all the time, watching the talk ticks and all them skibbities. Nope.
Stop it, old man. Stop it.
Okay. And then she is also going to train with the Red Daggers. And this is the what if Spider-Man learns Kung Fu, which nobody ever thought to ask until 2003, 2004. There's literally a comic book where the Kung Fu guy the Kung Fu guy is Spider-Man saves him, Ultimate Spider-Man saves him, and Kung Fu guy's like, you can't fight worth for shit. And Spider-Man's like, I don't need to. I got this proportional strength of a spider. He's like, okay, like I can still kick your ass. And so it establishes that, yes, what would this do? And then it was done to much better effect in a She-Hulk comic where they discuss She-Hulk's strength being proportional, which they don't do in the show, unfortunately. I will not make you watch the show, but it's very funny. And so this is her learning how to not just control her powers through instinct and Bruno's help from before. Now she's getting people who theoretically if they're not, if they don't have the force themselves, they're force
Yeah.
aware.
Yeah.
The force might not be aware of them, but they are aware of it type thing.
Right.
Okay. So then
Is it
she
when she's training with them?
yeah,
And then is this when the other big action sequence happens?
is that just it?
I think so.
Um
I don't think there's any more with mom or grandma.
okay.
There's yeah.
This is this the chase? Yes, this is the Indiana Jones sequence.
Yeah, this is Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Okay. We're
I've seen that.
basic
I've seen that.
I
Are you
know.
proud of me?
I Yeah.
Good.
Okay. So there is this action sequence that starts with the clandestines like crashing through the ceiling.
Right.
We're going to go into the streets where we're going to go through set dress Bangkok, but then we're also going to go through the reshoots, which you can't tell because they did a great fucking job.
They did a really great job. Yeah.
I would imagine, and there's a podcast that talks about, it's called Downstream. Okay, like whatever. I don't want to talk about it. But there lots of shows get made and have gotten made because they have studio space and they have professionals there and they want to keep those industries going. And
Hmm.
so when you think about how many shows there are doing Pakistan street scenes in the world, that's a lot of crews you can get. That's a lot of talent you can presumably get.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's cool. So we just have this very lengthy chase sequence. We're running, we're going on building tops, we're maybe doing some superhero stuff.
There's stealing cars and lorries and whatever those kind of little bike transport things are.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, like a tuk tuk is what I'm seeing, but that might be um, the Thai word for it. But that's essentially what it is.
And along the way, Waleed gets killed. He
Hmm.
takes out one of the clandestines, doesn't matter which one.
The only one that matters is
Uh,
mom. Yeah,
So we are then going to, where does the fight scene even end? Is it just on the street?
it's on the street. Yeah, and mom clandestine. She takes a knife and stabs Kamala's wrist, but she hits the bangle. And there's super cool special effects, ripping a hole in time and transporting her back to the night that her grandmother was trying to catch the train into Pakistan. So that final night of the partition, when the partition is happening, excuse me. And this is another scene where I cried. Like it really moved me. Just we see very busy train station, very, very busy, packed full of people. You hear a lot of conversations. I don't remember if it's in English or if it was just translated. But, it's clear that they're having to leave. They're having to leave people behind. They're having to leave things behind. Um, Children are worried about not being able to get on the train and leave. And uh, Kamala's there. It's not, she's not just having the vision of it. She is actually in it. And she climbs up on top of a train, and there's a great pullback where you realize it's not just the one train, it's like five or six trains. And each sort of train has the same kind of crowd happening, and it's hundreds of people in this shot. And she's on top of the train, but other people are on top of the train. They're not just taking the train like sitting in a seat. They are holding onto the side of the train. They're climbing on top of the train. Everybody's trying to leave because they have to. You also have scenes of, Indian and Pakistani friends having to separate. And it was very powerful, very emotional, to see that many people kind of in crisis, even if it's fictional in this representation of it as fictional, right?
Right.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Um,
Um, Earlier, when Kamala is talking about going to the train station, um, and she says her cousins aren't interested in history, it's not thinking it's the same train station, if I implied that, sorry. It's actually different than that. It's that the cousins aren't interested in Nani's history. Like Nani talks to Kamala about how like I don't know who I am. I was born in what was always India
oh yeah,
and now in Pakistan. The cousins don't have this experience, right? Like,
right.
and
This kind of like two separate worlds. Like I'm from India, but now I'm in Pakistan, and that means something different.
right.
And yeah, that was pretty interesting.
It was, trying to think, just I'm trying to think how often Miss Marvel doesn't pass the Bechdel test. Like I feel like it's very limited. It was like in the first episode or something, talking about the wedding, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But every other time it is very intentional about, we see it with Nakia and Kamala. It's not about the boys, it's about all the other stuff that's going on, except plus the boy sometimes, right? Like,
Right.
so it's very
Like a boy is sometimes involved, like the red daggers for
right.
example. Like they're involved, but their ultimate goal is to, well, once they meet her, is to help her hone her powers and teach her about what she needs to do, right? Like they are centered around her, not
Yeah.
her centered around them.
Okay. So, next time, presumably, we are going to be in the past.
Yes. Next time, episode 5, we'll be watching is called Time and Again. And we will find out a little bit more about Aisha, a little bit more about Najma, whose mom clandestine. And yeah, there'll be a little bit more information about what happened after the partition, or yeah, what happened to Aisha after she got separated from her husband.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
That was a good one.
Mhm.
That was a good one.